last week was freaking mental, wasn't it? It's like, what a busy weekend that.
I'll preface this by saying I have only watched both Nights of Mania and the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. I know there was like about 30 shows to watch.
Yeah,
but
that's fine. Yeah, no, you're right.
It's a lot. It's a lot to consume.
Well, yeah, and I think that's one of the prevailing themes of that weekend. I actually was watching a lot of the collective stuff, as you know, I was sending you screen grabs and videos of shit that was happening because it was funny.
Yeah,
really enjoyed it. The GCW stuff was great fun. Spent a lot of time just videoing and sending you and other people the entrances and stuff that I thought was funny. So like there was this Japanese killer wrestler from Dragon Gate / Noah called Mao, and his entrance tune was "That's What You Get." I can't remember what the name of the song's called. It's not called that. It's a Paramore song. He basically stands on the ring apron and has the crowd going, "That's what you get when you let your heart win." And it was like, but then he then goes in the ring and is like Suzuki style killing machine.
Murders his opponent.
Yeah. But yeah, there was also cool. I saw Suzuki wrestle Masha Slamovich in a match. It was Masha Slamovich, a Japanese woman whose name escapes me, versus Suzuki and is it Masato Tanaka from old ECW, the guy that used to wrestle Mike Awesome quite a lot.
Right.
Just one of these guys that's done so much garbage wrestling that, you know,
the forehead looks like a chopping board.
Yeah, and then but it was a tag team match of the two male wrestlers versus the two female wrestlers, and it was really hard hitting. But I remember watching it and thinking they've done this as a stunt to have like two female garbage wrestlers versus two male garbage wrestlers. But like the standard was brilliant. It was better than I thought it was going to be. Saw a lot of Session Moth Martina. Yeah. I haven't seen her live, but I know she comes to Scotland a fair bit for like ICW and Discovery. I've not seen her live, but she comes out to Cascada holding 2 beer cans and is like getting drunk in the crowd and stuff. Quite enjoyed that. Like a weird sort of British Ned. I think she's from Dublin. But like this sort of like Ned, this Ned Raver version of Stone Cold Steve Austin, which I was digging. And that was cool. But yeah, and I watched a bit of Supercard, but I was so tired and I was like, actually, if I don't sleep, I'm going to really struggle at Big Swally, and we've got WrestleMania Night 1 tomorrow night. So
yeah.
What did you think of Supercard though? I heard it was all right.
Yeah, no, I quite enjoyed what I'd seen of it. It was on in the background whilst I was working, but there was a lot of times where I was like, oh, I'm going to have to rewind that because that sounded nasty. And it was like Kyle Fletcher had a match, and it was just big elbows, just absolute, just I think it was Lee Moriarty he was fighting, but they were just going to town on each other. And again, I think you told me about this, the Billy Starks versus Queen Anamata.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Yeah, there was like one point where Queen did like a sliding boot out the ring, and it looked like she just took Billy's face right off. It was disgusting. There was clearly not a safe way to take that kick to the face as she jumped out the ring, and I just like, oh, God. But yeah, that big swerve at the end where it would just look like a big neck injury, and the match stopped, and it's always like, is that a stunt? Is this legit? Because you always wonder like how the camera crews react to like an injury. I always feel like if they focus on it a lot, then you feel like, right, we're in on it. But when the cameras try and cut away and look at other things, then like, and it was a good mix.
I don't know. Like I saw that bit, and I think AEW in particular are really bad. It reminds me, and like, you know, we're both massive fans of that company, and shoot me down because I'm starting to sound like an internet critic here. One of these guys that troll like your wrestling Reddits and stuff, but I think AEW do that quite a lot. To like, they do these kind of stunts that feel very old WCW, where they like use techniques that we're kind of aware, like the holding the X up for an injury, like listening to the internet fans talking about, I don't know, like the thing this week we're seeing Punk's like backstage stuff in London, and stuff. I'm just like, just you've got the best roster in the world. Just put on good matches, and everyone will be happy.
Yeah,
and I think when I saw that thing at Ring of Honor, when there were that like neck injury thing, I was like, I don't hope that obviously I want everyone to be okay, but I really hope this isn't just a kayfabe fucking swervy thing.
Yeah.
So,
but I felt like they played it long enough where you fell for it, and then when the German suplex or the chokehold kicked in, and he's just like, "You bastards!" Like, I let my guard down, and he's made a fool of me. But
I just don't know if I like that. I don't know. That's not why I don't. I like to watch wrestling to be surprised and that, but I'm like, it just feels quite a cheap way to do it. To play on legitimate health concerns rather than story annoys me a wee bit. Yeah, but no, what I noticed because obviously I was watching loads of GCW, which is obviously a bigger indie in the American scene, probably one of the bigger indies, in America, and then Ring of Honor, which has obviously got was the super indie and has now got the financial backing and production of AEW. Well, I noticed that I spoke about this week as well. The idea that the wrestling on GCW was probably immense. I think we talked about this a wee bit in the car. It was probably immense because of the production values. A lot of the drama was maybe you're losing a wee bit of it just because of that. Sorry, there's a car on hooking off on my street.
I thought it was my street there.
Yeah, I think if the production values aren't crisp, you maybe lose a lot of the drama. And what I noticed with Ring of Honor is because a lot of the Ring of Honor guys, like Billy Starks, for example, were involved in other shows I saw over the weekend. And I thought maybe her Ring of Honor match wasn't as good as the stuff I was seeing her do elsewhere. But
right, okay.
But the production was so good that it added to the drama in the way that these amazing matches for smaller companies that don't have the production values to make them look epic.
Yeah.
So that was my big takeaway from watching all the indie stuff. I thought Supercards, as I say, I think Ring of Honor is falling a wee bit into the idea of it being a bit like NXT for AEW.
Aye, yeah, because that's I kept getting surprised when certain people were showing up, going, I've not seen that person for a while. They've ended up here. But even that 6-man tag with who you call it, Lance Archer, and then they brought out Minoru Suzuki, and then they had a good match. But yeah, I mean, obviously you had Bullet Club Gold there too, but they were holding the trios tag belts, so you'd expect them to be there. But no, it was fine. It was definitely sure it wasn't a spectacular 10 out of 10 show, but there was memorable moments.
It's good. I just want I read an article about what AEW could do to improve this year, because arguably they're like the actual wrestling on their shows that they're putting on is great, but then they're doing a bit of stunt. They're doing a lot of like this sort of fourth wall breaking stunty stuff, like the Young Bucks playing that footage, and just like that's totally unnecessary. And actually, it's attention grabby rather than quality.
That was like a bad idea from the second it was announced, and then watching it kind of just confirms like it was last August.
Yeah,
like
it was purely done this week because CM Punk was a big deal at WrestleMania, wasn't it? And it was like that. It was just like otherwise they would have shown that footage ages ago. But just again, I just felt a wee bit like I say the comparisons with WCW when it was starting to struggle, trying to latch on to what the WWE, like saying we're better than our opponents, and like obviously like I always remember that Tony Schiavone promo where he actually says like, you know, if you're thinking about turning over to their channel, don't, you know, we can confirm here that Mick Foley, who used to wrestle here, is going to win the world title. You know, that bum's going to win the world title. That'll put bums on seats. I think Tony, like I've read Tony's autobiography, and he's like, I didn't want to say that. I was told to say that. I'm actually a good friend with Mick Foley, blah blah blah. But then instead of like folk not changing the channel because they thought, apparently left it like it meant 500,000 folk watching WCW switched over straight away because they wanted to see it. You're like,
Yeah.
you've literally turned folk off your own product. Like, one of the suggestions I saw about, particularly about Ring of Honor, so I was reading a Cultaholic article about like 10 things they could do to make AEW better, and one of the things was give it, do what they've done with NXT and give it to someone else. So, and they were suggesting like Daniel Bryan or Dustin Rhodes or something like that. Just go right. You're now booking this show, and like see how they get on, because it can like. I think Ring of Honor could be amazing, but it doesn't feel like Ring of Honor.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely it doesn't have as well. I guess they have to grow their own talent, but I think the big attraction of Ring of Honor was all those big names that I had back in the day, or up and coming indies that were really, really getting like the internet buzzing.
Yeah, totally. And I think they can get that. Like, I think they've got everything there. They've got everything there to make that happen. They've got like Athena is incredible.
Yes, she did great.
Obviously, Billy Starks is the one that come up, and there's loads of other indie darlings, and then again, like old school Ring of Honor, they would bring in like a name from Japan, like they brought Suzuki in. It just feels like it could be better, and I don't know why it's not. I think one of the big online suggestions is that Tony Khan has just spread himself too thin, and there's too.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
He's too obsessed with like a small, instead of just telling a story, he's too obsessed with what a small portion of the internet are thinking, and I don't know how true that is.
Exactly, but I mean, when there's times you see him doing these Twitter rants, and you're just thinking.
When I think about AEW at its best, I'm thinking Hangman Page on his like anxiety attacks, and then like his like comeback from like mental health to being world champion. That was genuinely like heartening. It was a really like motivational story, and it had nothing to do with what the fuck are they saying on WWE television this week? What can we do to counter product that? There's no need. Do your best, and then folk will stay. Then WrestleMania was the big event.
Yeah, that happened.
I want to hold my hands up and say I probably genuinely haven't enjoyed the WrestleMania as much as I enjoyed this year since before COVID. Actually, maybe WrestleMania 30 was maybe the last time I remember being genuinely into wrestling like I was for WrestleMania this weekend. I just thought it was like the great stuff was like epic. The shit stuff wasn't that bad. Like I think my only I was in a group chat on night one, and then I think everyone got tired and it didn't continue into night two. But the worst match was probably Jay Jimmy, and that was middling. Like it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't as good as it could have been. And that I don't think that's a massive criticism actually. So
no, because I mean you had like I'm going to start getting my nights mixed up, but what night you had? I think it was actually that was night 2, where you had the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley taking on Karrion Kross's stable. Like even the fact that they were bringing out tables, you got Bully Ray to come out and Snoop Dogg on commentary. There's so many.
You need to get Snoop Dogg on commentary more often. He's brilliant. Really good.
He was just this drunk fan that reacted to everything. And he was like also the hype man to everyone there, and just talking about his affection for Big Bobby. Just it was brilliant. But no, like I always love like a big gimmick match at Mania. So like the tag team titles being in this ladder match was crazy, and it was great that they were separating the titles and people were getting a chance. Like 2 teams were getting a chance to win. And I always cringe at like when people are on the top of a ladder and it starts to tilt, and like there's that moment where like Damian Priest was climbing up a ladder that was clearly buckled and referees were trying to stop him.
Well,
wait, no, was it Damian?
I think he thought it was a wrestler. It's not like it was like one of the female referees grabbed his ankle, didn't she? And he turned around and went, "Fuck off!" And then I think he realised it wasn't a wrestler. and then they obviously came down and they were able. I thought that was quite smooth that they were able to get rid of the shit ladder and bring a better one in.
Yeah,
and it was quite smooth. It didn't feel like it didn't feel like it took it.
They had to reset themselves, and I mean that's the amount of people that were just throwing around. What was it, JD McDonough's from the ladder? Like, God's sake! Like the velocity that he went down and smashed through that table was sickening.
Yeah, it was sickening. That was the only bit I was like, oh, that's quite convoluted because he just stood there for ages going, no, don't push me, don't push me. He's like, get off the ladder.
Yeah,
just step off. Don't stand there shaking your head in fear. Climb down.
But
like they're not.
It's always the thing where the ladder is a wrestler's kryptonite. Like they're a full athlete until they touch a ladder, and then like, oh,
yeah.
I think William Regal was best, where it's like he just had a fear of heights, or it was him or Dave Taylor, and they got the ladder and it's like they couldn't even get on the first rung. Like, oh, I can't.
So I think yeah, some great highlights. But we try and fire so I've got the spreadsheet up. We did a spreadsheet last week. But we just go through it and see.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try and keep it as much to. Obviously we talked about this. I didn't know what order they do the matches in. Was it the first match was the women's title match, and that was epic.
Yes, Becky and Rhea.
Yeah, just really, really good. A really tight match. A great opener. We all said Rhea was going to retain, and she did. So, yeah, I thought it was great. I really liked that she had the band that came out and sung her ring entrance, and
yes,
she sung it word for word all the way down the ramp. She was loving it. Where I've sometimes seen wrestlers come out to ring entrances and they're not really paying attention to the music, but she was just like, I don't know, it was like she was a fan. Yeah, it was really cool. It was a great match as well. A great way to start. And then what was next? Was it was the ladder match after that, where we both had a pick that won that. So you had All Town,
A-Town Down Under.
Yeah, so they won. They took a brutal they won the first set of belts and then took a brutal
and then were promptly killed off.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. And then the Awesome Truth won the second pair of belts, which included that really awesome moment where R-Truth forgot he was in a ladder match and got the hot tag.
Exactly.
It was really good. I also fair play to also I don't really care for them as all that much, but fair play for him for actually tagging him and just going right now, whatever. I thought that was really
whatever will get you the match. Come on.
Yeah, that was cool. And like you said, it was a bit of a stunt show. It was insane. I think the next match was then maybe the tag team with Dom and
Santos Escobar, Rey Mysterio, and Andrade.
Yeah.
That was a bit forgettable, but
it was forgettable. And I think we
can't
said that.
think of any big moments, but
there was one. Was it this one? Or it might have been. I'm trying to think. I think it was this match. The bit at the end when it all got a bit mental, but they did the thing where they pulled down the middle rope, and I think is it Escobar that stands on it, or someone stands on it, and then they pull the middle rope.
They shouted that they wanted a WrestleMania moment, and they just
they put him in the air.
Yeah,
that was cool. That was really smart.
I'm glad that worked and didn't end up on like Botchamania for going horribly wrong.
But that was cool. I watched it again yesterday, watching the top 40 moments of WrestleMania, and I forgot how good it looked. Like just pung him. I don't know. I don't want to say how far he travelled, but he just went flying. It was like he was shot out of a cannon. It was really cool. And then they did that thing where they got two American footballers out at the end to. Which I actually thought killed the match quicker than I thought it was going to go. I thought we had another couple of minutes, but it's fine. Forgettable, like you say. But we all thought we didn't get that one right because we all said Dom's team would win, and so I was surprised that So, and then I've got the Usos, the Battle of the Usos, which was mid. Was what I put in my notes afterwards. Is that match was very okay.
that's it. Not
I
all,
quite
not
like,
every match can be.
yeah, and I think
Aye.
that's by design as well. But I liked it when they were punching each other and the crowd were going yeet, no yeet. That was quite funny. Just
Yes,
really,
aye,
really,
they've
really,
got that going for them.
that was cool. And then you had that the women's trios match, which was quite, it was what you expected it to be. They would so it was the Kabuki All Warriors
Oh
and
yeah. Okay, I
versus
remember now.
Jade, Naomi, and who's the third man on their team? Jade, Cargill, Naomi, and Becca Belair.
Bianca.
Yeah, Bianca Belair. Sorry, that was that was fine. It was fine. I think Jade looked amazing.
Yeah, aye.
I think
They got that big entrance.
Mm-hmm.
They got the scissor lift.
That was well cool. I thought
Yeah.
I thought Jade's there was like I'm a fan of ring gear. Anyway, I always like it when, particularly in the entrances, when they come out with like a crafty, like when they come out, like obviously Cody on night 2 coming out dressed like one of the skeletons and stuff like that. I quite like that stuff. But Jade came out, Jade's ring gear looked like, and I haven't checked up on it, but she looked like the robot out of that silent German movie Metropolis. You know, the
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, she looked excellent, and they used her really well. So she got the hot tag, and she just nailed everyone.
Yeah.
This is like, that's what they need to get her to do until she wins the world title, to be honest. And then is that all night one? No, obviously. Sorry, no, I've got 2 matches from night 1 left. The Sammy Gunther match, which was awesome.
Yeah, I was almost doubting my pick of Sammy winning until they showed you it from the shot backstage, and he's with his wife and kids, and then he meets Chad, and there's Kevin Owens waiting at the end of the hall for him. He's like, oh no, they're hyping him up too big. This is changing.
I thought the right call was made there as well. I think we were talking about before we went to air. I think Sammy wasn't the first choice in the storylines, but I think as a result, his storyline was maybe shorter than it needed to be. In the build-up, he could have dealt with more adversity, I think, to make that story really pop. But I think they did a really good job on the night of making it like Sammy will not be able to win this. It's not doable. Then he did his old El Generico finisher in the corner. You know, the brainbuster.
Yeah, aye. Which like dangerous looking move.
Yeah, I popped for it though. Like watching it live, I was like, that was like, I was looking at Craig. And I was like, that's when he was like in the Indies and he was wearing a mask still, and he was called that was his finisher. It's like, oh my god, like, and then really good. Yeah. And then there was the main event tag team match, which took so long.
Aye.
It was like half between. I think somebody put up online that between the start of the hype package following Sammy's match and the actual start of the actual wrestling was like 30 minutes. And then when the bell rung, it was 30 minutes. And then when the bell, between entrances and stuff like that, and then when the bell rung, it was really slow paced. There was a lot of like The Rock standing there, like looking like he was better than everyone. And they just kept doing that over and over again. It's like, and then they did the Attitude Era brawling in the crowd stuff. And I was just like, I'm not enjoying this the way I want to be enjoying this.
Aye.
And then it got great at the end. So
yeah, that was it. I think I'd seen something that it was the statistics were saying it was like the second longest WrestleMania match on record behind like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels Iron Man match. But it was like definitely kind of you're watching 4 hours of wrestling. You kind of appreciate if they start speeding it up towards the end.
Yeah. I did. Yeah, I think that as well. Obviously, it's the curse of watching wrestling as a wrestling fan in the UK live. Is that like I remember when the Sammy celebration was cut, so they could start. They cut from a celebration of the title to start the build up for the next match, and I was like, oh, actually, it's like I think at that point it was like, oh, it's 20-3. This might be over earlier than I think it would be. That would be quite good. But then by the time that match was finished, it was like 4 o'clock. I was like, oh, that was a long time, actually.
Aye, you could add like a quick kip before the match began.
Yeah,
Oh, you power nap.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine, and it had the right result, and building up more hurdles for Cody for night 2. So
exactly, yeah.
And then night 2 was night 1 was great. I really enjoyed night 1. I think the general consensus seems to be that night 1 was great and night 2 was epic. Whereas I thought the highs of night 2 were brilliant, but I did think there was quite a lot of mid stuff as well. But that was all right. So you had the Drew Seth match at the start, which was amazing. Drew won, and then shouted at CM Punk for longer than he needed to, and got jumped. So.
Aye, it was that moment where mid match he went over to his wife and started pissing about with a phone, and it's like, is he taking a selfie? But I'd seen later that he was actually posting on Twitter, and it was just a tweet saying "bored at work, LOL."
Yeah, that was great. Love it.
Aye.
Yeah,
and then he reposted that like an hour later, going "fuck." Just one word, just fuck. Because it came back and bit him in the ass. And yeah, there's definitely that thing of we're Scottish. We want him to get his WrestleMania victory in front of a crowd. And no, we don't want to see him get cashed in on. But
yeah, I thought it was excellently done. It was when he was standing in front of CM Punk and he was like sat in front of him. I actually thought quite provocatively at one point. They kind of kneeled on the table in front of CM Punk. I was like, are you trying to goad him into a fight, or are you trying to seduce him? Like, it was really like, I don't know if it's just the tables are rickety or whatever, but he kind of got on his knees quite funnily in front of CM Punk and was like showing him the belt and going like, I earned this, like, I won this, you didn't. And CM Punk's like, okay, you can hear CM Punk going on the commentary going, yeah, congratulations, go and celebrate. Why are you standing here? Like, you don't need to be telling me that you won. I saw you won. Well done. Go away.
I was just hoping, like, please don't let the table collapse. Like, he's such a big guy and he's sitting crowds and like that could give way. I've seen tables drop for less. I mean, it's going to be really embarrassing if you fall on your arse.
Which is why he was being so like weird when he was getting on the table. But if you watch it back, he's sort of like, I don't know if you can watch it back. They might have, but it just looks very provocative the way he gets on the like.
It's like walking across thin ice. Like, just gotta be a wee bit careful here. But I'm just going to be a dick and wave this in your face.
I also assumed I'm quite happy that it didn't. But I assumed that when Damian Priest tried to cash in the Money in the Bank, it would be a failed cash in. I could see it. Right. I could see him. I could see him being one of those guys that ran out and tried to take advantage of somebody, and it just not working. Or he used it. He used the belt to go for like a smaller title, or like for like a. But I was like, oh my god, like Damian Priest is a world champion.
Exactly. And then that great shot of Judgment Day at the top of the ramp, holding their belts. It was good.
Yeah, it was good. Very enjoyable. Just a really good start tonight too. So we all had Drew winning that one, and he did, but then he didn't. I think was the next match LA Knight AJ? I can't remember the way the orders went.
Could
it might be Bailey. Yeah, but both matches were good. LA AJ was good fun. I think. What was one of your very rare missed predictions? Was that one we had? I had LA Knight winning, and you had AJ. I just think LA Knight needed to win it. That's the only reason I think the win's come out of his sales very. The win's been taken out. Basically, they had him big. They brought him in as like the next Rock, and then the actual Rock showed back up again. So you're like, oh, it became almost that meme of like, can we have some Rock when we go home? No, we've got the Rock when we go home. We stop for the Rock. No, we've got Rock at home, and it's LA Knight. I felt that that's kind of what was happening to him, but then I don't know. He needs to get a title. I think let him take the US title off.
Aye, that's it. his credit's going to go down soon. Like he's been going up, but the fact that he's going so far and getting a title is going to get him through the next ceiling, but he's just aye.
If they can put him if they can give him Logan Paul, because Logan Paul's been
that would work.
He's been advertised for SummerSlam, so it'd be cool for LA Knight to take it then, I think, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was good match. Edge is great, so like it was always going to be a good match. It was I saw something online that said like, what are your predictions for the AJ LA Knight match? And like, great LA Knight match, standard AJ match. It's like it was that. It was and then Bailey Io Sky was great as well, just good fun.
Yes, it was good. The good result for that.
Yeah, just exactly what you would think it would be.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it was a strange entrance where she was coming out like on this Egyptian get up, but she was on these men's shoulders. Like, did they not get a throw? Was there something like normally like they're carried on a big chair and it's like we've lost the chair, just get on her shoulders, no one will notice.
Yeah, I thought it was odd. Like you say, it was strange. She looked great though. She reminded me of Katy Perry in one of her music videos. If anyone knows the Katy Perry video where she's dressed like an Egyptian, it was that one. But she looked good. She looked really good, and she is excellent. She's probably one of the best. Great world title, well deserved. She's worthy of it. So
yes,
Io Sky was great. Io Sky was a good person to be as well because she was a great champion too. So and then Testament versus the Pride. Is that what they call them?
I couldn't remember. The Street Profits and Bobby Lashley
versus Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain. That was I wasn't looking forward to that match, to be honest, and it was fine. It was okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. You had like it was just like a hardcore match. Started bringing out tables, which was good. Bobby Dudley as your referee, a slightly intoxicated Snoop Dogg, surprisingly. But did you find the fact that every match seemed to have been like sponsored by something a bit strange?
We talked about that. Me and Craig talked about it at the time because he's a lapsed fan. Obviously, I'm kind of used to like what was going on now.
The barricade and the ring apron are all LED screens now, which can be changed to adverts. Ring posts can be changed to adverts.
And the Prime hydration station. They called it that every time, but they didn't just call it.
Yeah,
they didn't go he's been knocked into the Prime. It was like, oh no, not the Prime hydration station. It's love that.
Some poor guy from the Mexican commentary has to put that all back together before the next match. But it's the fact that you had Prime turnbuckles, you had Prime across the center of the ring, but it was all these digital adverts for. I mean, even the Rey Mysterio Dominic match had like some Spanish soft drink as a sponsor. And
it was every match though. It was every match, wasn't it? It was like, we want to thank the people at Snickers for
and Whitley's vodka. Like, why does the mule have to go to Moscow? And then it was something called Dude Wipes. Like the Jay and Jimmy match was sponsored by Dude Wipes. It's like that. Like
I've had Dude Wipes. I've used Dude Wipes. They're really good.
Like, are we talking about like wiping asses here? What's going on? Like,
no, they're like they're cleansing wipes for men. They're just called Dude Wipes, but you get them in like I got them in like one of those.
Like, but we're not exactly wiping our foreheads with these.
Oh well, you can, but then also they're for other areas that are known to chafe, and you might use them for you would historically maybe use baby wipes. Like,
like I was almost just waiting for it to throw up like a blue chew, like sponsor for a Divas match.
Definitely expecting all that sort of stuff, but it was comical just how much sponsorship was being used.
Yes, aye.
So, Bridget, shout out to Bridget. She is I was her youth worker for years, and she comes to all our Comic Cons, and I can always give her a wee job to do when I'm like, Bridget, go and get me my lunch, or Bridget, go and fold these raffle tickets for me, and she's just like, fine. So
and she
yeah,
knows her
Dark
Katy
Horse,
Perry reference.
yeah, Dark Horse, yeah, that's a good music. Her music, Katy Perry's music videos are great. And yeah, so it was good. Yeah, sponsorships all the way. There's the Prime stuff was that what I quite liked about the Prime one is I was fully expecting it to be like a full size, like a massive Prime bottle in the middle of the ring with all the colors, and I thought, and I wasn't looking forward to that. I thought I thought it was quite
it was just
tasteful.
almost like a grey scale, kind of like a more muted color. So it wasn't overbearing.
That's Bridget saying that she doesn't know how she feels about us talking about her her having her comment pinned while we're talking about dude wipes. sorry, Bridget.
All right, Bridget's comments sponsored by Dude Wipes. The next comment's going to be sponsored by Manscaped, then Blue Chew, and then HelloFresh.
We talked about that, like we've talked about that before. Like I know that you and me both like our podcasts. Do you not notice? Like we obviously hit an algorithm for podcasts, for the podcasts we listen to, and the sponsorships that those podcasts have. So all the sponsorships, all the sponsorships that. So I'll be like, listen to a movie podcast or my Dungeons and Daddies podcast, or which is not BDSM podcast, it's a D&D podcast. But they're like, they'll talk through it, and then they're like, and they'll have the host go like, "Oh, this episode is brought to you by Manscaped, or Beer 52, or Dude Wipes, or movieposters.com," and it's always the same one, and it's like, oh, all the podcasts I listen, NordVPN's another one.
Oh yeah.
It's just I was like, I obviously hit an algorithm or like a type of listener, because then I've looked into all those products. So yeah, sponsorship mania. So yeah, the Pride Testament stuff was really good. It was more entertaining than I thought it would be, and then I really enjoyed the Logan Owens.
Their triple threat
was good
great.
fun.
Even just the entrances alone, you got your WrestleMania entrances. Well, Logan came out with his big Prime Jeep with a big Prime bottle that fired fireworks, I guess, or he just pressed the button to set off fireworks. But then you had Owens. Okay, he got the Sammy treatment. Go do this, bring home the belt. But the fact that he runs out, then runs back, comes out on a golf caddy, drives all the way down. Orton comes out, reverses all the way back up, picks up Orton, who was so sheepish on the back of this rickety metal structure, and then Orange firing down, and he was like, whoa, slow. Like, both of them could have just drove right into the ring, and it would have been
great.
It was
Orton's amazing. I have never liked Randy Orton in my entire wrestling life. Like I hated him when he was doing the Legend Killer stuff. I just have always took a dislike to him. I know that was his whole character, particularly like he was world champion when I went to Raw down in London, and I was like, I fucking hate this guy. And I know that was the point, but it was verging on like X-Pac heat, that whole like I don't boo him because I don't like him. I boo him because actually as a person I'm not massive into him. You know what I mean? It's like not the right for me. It's never been the right kind of baddie. I've just really disliked him. But I've in the last couple of years have grown to respect the fact that he doesn't do a lot and he's really good at that. He's really good at
he's got longevity now, and even that he's slipping more into comedy, like when he was tagging with Matt Riddle, and just this bromance between them two was great, and the fact that the chemistry between him and Owens was perfect for this match, where it's like, right, we have a common goal, just slap Logan Paul daft,
kill Logan Paul.
And it was the whole backdrops on the commentary table, and Owens like, that looks good, let me try that, and he does it. And then Randy's like, oh, you need more elevation. You got to do this a bit more. And he's like, okay, let's try it again. they're throwing them onto the apron, and it's like, oh, it's perfect.
I really like the ending sequence as well with the pop up powerbomb into RKO combo.
Yeah.
Really clever, really cool.
And then they killed one of his friends that was hiding in a prime bottle.
Yeah, I didn't know who that was. I knew who KSI was because of I have children.
Yeah, it was the two of them that was behind the whole prime thing, but I think that's just another part of his collective group. But it was promptly murdered on a commentary table.
Yeah, it was good. Well, yeah, I didn't know who it was. I don't know anything really about Logan Paul other than he does the energy juice and kids love him. But when his friend got nailed through the table, I was like, good.
That's that problem solved. It was a shame the table didn't break. But other than that,
I quite like when the table doesn't break. I don't know if that's like
make
the
it
same.
Worse.
I love that it doesn't. I love that it goes.
In my head, it's like they just need to try it again.
This is always happy to assist us. Yeah, I was folding raffle tickets at Decaf, and I was like, this is fucking tedious. Bridget. I love it when the table doesn't break.
It makes it look worse. Where it's just like, oh, that got hurt even more.
Because it hasn't. I don't know. Like, I've never been fired through a table before, but like I want to imagine
that's a goal for decaf.
Yeah, to go for decaf, getting put through a table. No, I want to imagine that like the table collapsing onto like maybe has a bit of give to it. And I've always kind of thought it looks maybe even looks worse than and maybe it looks worse than it is. However, I was just looking at Bridget's comments in the thing, and she's making me sound like a horrible human being. I always think, whereas like when the table doesn't break, it's just like, oh, he's just landed on like solid. And then you've got the other one where it breaks before it's supposed to. And then that's a good one too. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
All the table spots. Love a table spot. And yeah, so I think the right thing, I want Logan Paul to lose to somebody like LA Knight. Or I would have had like someone like Sammy or that do it. So so I'm quite happy that he's still got the title. And then there was, is that all the matches? Showing through this quickly. Yeah, there was obviously the main event, which was unbelievable.
Yes, so much to kind of go through. And when I was watching it, I got to maybe the last 25 minutes, and then my PlayStation stopped working. I was like, I had to look at YouTube to find out how it ended, and it was just every appearance, but they cut out. It was only showing you the entrance and then cutting out the actual what they did when they came into the ring, like how Cena came out to take out Solo. It was like he showed up, and then it cut right to The Rock coming out, and then that was good. But it was. I managed to watch it properly today.
It was excellent. I thought the Jimmy bump off the ramp looked.
Yeah, that looked crazy. Like there was no. Like we didn't know there was a table there to catch them, more or less. They just
murdered each other.
Them off the stage and thankfully there was like a cameraman in a suit waiting down there for them. But
I thought they handled it really well. And I know when we talked about the predictions, I was like, oh, I would really like us to have an Avengers moment where they all line up.
Yeah,
and
no chloroform.
No chloroform. Sorry,
no chloroform rag.
But yeah, I was expecting that. I was expecting like a more of like an assemble followed by brawl, and I really liked the way they did it, which was not. It wasn't the same. It had the same like folk coming out and did it, but I like that they all cancelled each other out. So you had like the Usos cancelled each other out. Cena took part. Cena took care of Solo, but then The Rock smashed him, and then it was just that.
Well, who can we get to smash The Rock? But then like they tried to like really throw us off by playing the Shield music.
Yeah,
I think there was definitely a section of the crowd like,
it's Moxley.
Dean Ambrose, from the dead. Where has he been all these years? But it was Seth, like the poor guy, and they went and got all the get up on. I'm running out. nailed. And
I
then
felt really bad for
climbed
Seth
back up,
overall.
and then nailed again.
I think you have to hold it up to Seth though. Like I thought Seth was great. Seth is great. He's one of my faves.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a very good WrestleMania weekend. Like
No.
usually a bad WrestleMania weekend means you lose your match, but he lost a match, and then he lost a title match. He got up, and then he got nailed. And then he got nailed again. So like all three of his appearances ended with him getting his ass handed to him. I think it's testament to him that I didn't think any less of him after that. I was just like, he's so good that he was able to take all three losses, for lack of a better term, in his stride. Whereas I don't actually think there's many wrestlers that could have done that in one weekend.
Yes, exactly. You could bounce back from it.
But the Undertaker showing up was hilarious. Like, just wasn't expecting that. Yeah. Used very sparingly, great. Just the choke slam and fucked off. Like, it was great. Like, he just did exactly. I did see the obviously I think folk wanted Stone Cold to come out because that Stone Cold Rock rivalry over WrestleMania is legendary. Yeah. I did see a meme that was like, I follow a Facebook page that it's like wrestling meets The Simpsons, and there's that idea that because Dustin Rhodes had a title match on Dynamite this week.
Yes.
It's like, and the meme was like Stone Cold showing up at the airport. It's Tony Khan with a handwritten Stone Cold Steve Austin thing. And there was like, I'm here for the title match. He's like, yeah, I'm taking you to a world title match. He's like, yeah, is it the one that's got Cody Rhodes? And it's like, it's got our Rhodes in it. I think folk were expecting Stone Cold and were maybe disappointed that he didn't show up, but nobody was expecting Undertaker. So
I kind of thought that when you saw Kevin Owens' entrance and the camera went past what I thought was a quad bike, but then that was just a golf cart for KO.
Yeah. But no, it was excellent. Just a really, really awesome last match. Had the right result. I quite liked that the last 10 minutes I like the last 10 minutes. They sat there and they followed Cody, like thanking everybody, and I thought that was a really good way to finish, rather than it just be the traditional him standing in the corner with the belt. I really like that.
Everyone was coming in, they're calling him out, because that was it. Like even the ring announcers announcement, like is it Samantha Irvin? Like her announcement.
She was my MVP of the entire weekend. She was outstanding, and I read over the week that she deliberately goes her way not to find out results, so that when she calls winners and losers,
surprise. Yeah.
And the Sammy match, she was choking. You could hear when she was singing, when she was announcing Sammy as the winner. You could hear her voice choking a wee bit, which was lovely. And then she could barely announce Cody Rhodes as the winner. And then just photographs of her in tears and stuff. Yeah, I saw Brian Hebner, Earl Hebner's little brother, mouth off about her on Twitter, and folk were like, "Shut up, she was excellent." Like, I think he wrote something like, he wrote something on Twitter like, "They've got this woman doing the announcing and she's awful, totally ruining WrestleMania for me," and then just got bombarded by folk going, "She's excellent. What are you talking about?"
Quickly put in your place.
Yeah, I thought she was probably like outside of like any wrestler. She was outstanding. She was like my toe. Every time she announced something, I was like, "Oh, she's loving this," and you can feel that in her announcings. So, yeah.
And even Michael Cole at the end just saying, "I love professional wrestling." Yeah. And we're like, we've not been able to say that word for a while.
Well, that's the thing. So they're. I've heard that they're phasing out sports entertainment.
Yeah,
it's good because it's shit. It sounds stupid.
Yes,
and changing it for they're going to be using sparing more professional wrestling as a term more. Yeah, it's good, exciting stuff. Felt like the start of an era, and I know they kept saying that to us, like, "Are you ready for the new era?" and all that sort of stuff. But actually, it does feel like they're moving somewhere else. So good. In terms of predictions, because that's what everyone that wants to hear us talking about WrestleMania wants us to know. Let me count them up. So I had Awesome Truth, Jay, Jade, Roman, Rhea, Bailey, Logan, LA Knight, Drew, and Cody. That's 10, yeah?
Right.
And you had Sammy, A-Town, Down Under, Jay, Jade, Roman, Rhea, Bailey, Pride, Drew, and Cody, which is also 10.
Yeah.
And Stuart had Jay, Jade, Jade, Roman, Rhea, Logan, LA Knight, Drew, and Cody. So he only got 8, unfortunately. So you, me, Drew. I thought you'd won, and I maybe miscounted. So then we had to go to fan predictions, and if we only used the first fan prediction, I had R-Truth trying to hook Priest briefcase, and you had chloroform. So actually, I don't know what the tiebreaker would be. So
we'll just have to roll over to the next pay-per-view.
Exactly. So I'm at this weekend on Saturday. I'm selling comics alongside Colin at a toy convention, a toy and comic fair in Glasgow. So I'm going to go and see if I can find somebody selling wrestling merch. I'm going to buy us a toy belt, and I like that. We'll roll over to Backlash and try and
yes,
who's going to be the Brewgooder fantasy wrestling booking world champion.
Exactly. Get that exact paragraph of text put on the belt.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was one of the best WrestleManias I've seen. I'm trying to think of the ones that I think are better, and I do genuinely struggle.
As you said, I think when it comes to every 10 years, like WrestleMania 30, wasn't that the year where it was Daniel Bryan overcoming like Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton to win, to get both belts? So that was amazing.
It was a great all-round show as well, though. Am I right thinking that's when was that the Undertaker losing the streak that year as well, or did I make that up?
That might have been a different year.
I just remember WrestleMania 30 being amazing, and me walking away thinking, "Oh man, wrestling's great again." WrestleMania. I'm trying to think if I go further back. WrestleMania 24 maybe is in my top. It's like the one in 2000 and I don't know the number properly. It's like 2008,
right?
Which is the one that had that was Edge versus Undertaker. It was the first one I think where they decided that they were going to stay outside for WrestleManias. So it was the year that the Undertaker won the Royal Rumble, and it was the one that Ric Flair retired at.
Right. Yes. Okay.
That was not a good show. And then
I did find it funny that they pointed out you were getting weather updates throughout the pay-per-view.
I think it was just because they were so fucking cold, weren't they?
Yeah, just the commentary team wearing beanies and gloves.
Yeah,
they were just like, I guess people were freezing.
Pat McAfee like totally freezing because he was wearing a suit, and they were all like wearing their
big open shirt. Aye, they were wearing gloves, and he's pulled. Michael Cole's pulled a beanie over his headset, and it was almost as it doesn't beat the poncho year where you had Samoa Joe and Michael Cole in ponchos.
Poncho Mania.
We're gonna have to stall for another half hour. There's rain gathering at the sides.
I think that was I'm quite bad for like laughing at morbid stuff in wrestling, and obviously Poncho Mania was supposed to be the year that they were coming out of it was the first wrestling event in front of a crowd again, and you're like, oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry. Like, I felt bad, but also was like, it's rain. The first WrestleMania in a year's getting rained off. It's great.
There's just the memes of sad Samoa Joe in a poncho. Just
he's criminally underrated on commentary. I know he's obviously a world champion again now, so
yes,
but I think I always thought he was amazing in commentary. He got the Royal Rumble that year as well, and I thought he was amazing. I was like, oh, I want Samoa Joe on that table more often. WrestleMania X7, I will still hold up and say is the best WrestleMania of all time. I think WrestleMania 40 came close a few times, but I saw a thing on Instagram where somebody was in the crowd for Limp Bizkit, and as they start playing My Way, he pulls out his phone and starts playing the promo video.
They get the promo video, of course.
And then folk are like there's folk behind him like laughing because he's watching the highlights of The Rock versus Stone Cold during a live performance of My Way by Limp Bizkit. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Top tier hype packages.
Excellent. That was a great hype package as well. I would have WrestleMania 40 in my top 5 quite easily. I can't sit off the top of my head and go, I think of many that are better. I'm sure if I stopped and thought about it more, but yeah, X7 30 and 24, maybe 20 was quite good, but
maybe we could do it for Backlash. Have like a top 3, top 5 manias.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Mm.
And why? Yeah, let's do that. You can't do that for Backlash though, because if we decided to do it as top Backlashes, because Backlash 2000 is the best WWE pay-per-view possibly.
Is that the one where Big Show came out as Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
Or not, as a Scotsman?
Oh, I think that was the Scotsman one. It was also the one where Scotty 2 Hotty and Dean Malenko have like an absurdly good match. It's like, this is incredible. And then I had The Rock versus Triple H with
and Austin came back.
Austin came back and just
they had the giant swinging the amazing sets.
It's possibly one of the best wrestling shows they've ever done. So yeah, that was good. Yeah, awesome. Anything else from the weekend you want to talk about, WrestleMania wise or wrestling wise? Or I'm glad we talked about Samantha. That was the one thing I wanted to talk about. I thought she was amazing. I thought
she did great. But no, just excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, very, very excited. Awesome. Awesome. We'll call it quits.
I think so. We'll hit the 2-hour mark. So well done to anyone else that's still watching.
Yeah, cheers everyone. Everyone have a great weekend. Come to Glasgow to the Renfrew rooms to see us. If you want to chat with me, call for a bit and buy toys. Yeah, everyone have a great weekend. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.